Hi, everybody. Welcome to our About Us at NCDHH. Today's podcast topic is career bloopers. You know, those work-related incidents where you're like, oh, geez, what was I thinking? Might be an embarrassing moment, might be something that caused you a little angst, or maybe some emotional trauma. Maybe it made you cry. But those are normal things. Many of us have experienced those out in the workplace, people out and about, something that happens either at work or something related to work. So us advocacy specialists will share their little moments of bloopers. And we'll start off with Dylan out of our Omaha office. Dylan? Hi, everybody. Yeah, my story is from when I first came on board here at NCDHH. There were four of us employees from NCDHH, Cody, Carly, Kim, and I. We had given a presentation at a local elementary school here in Omaha. They have a deaf program there. The deaf program, they sign a little differently than what I now use as an ASL user. They use C, which is a little variation of ASL. It's called Signing Exact English. Keep in mind, I grew up using that sign system, and so I had experienced it, but I went away to RIT and then changed to ASL because that's more common there in the northeast part of the states. So I got back to Nebraska and, started back in this job and met these children, and they were using C, and I was completely clueless. I could not understand. I could not fit their signing style. I thought, wow, that's a good one. Even though I grew up with it, I couldn't remember it. Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's kind of an eye-opening experience to go through. Awesome. All right. Next, we'll go to our other Omaha advocacy specialist, and that's Ashley. Ashley? Hi, everybody. Hi. Yeah. So this happened a few years ago in an internship that I was doing in Washington, D.C. I was drinking what was called kombucha, which is it has a fizz to it similar to soda, but it's not soda pop. So at that time I had bought that, and I was talking with a person at the internship, and people who are deaf typically were looking at who we're talking to. I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. So I opened the lid, it overflowed all over my pants. So I was stuck all day with wet and sticky pants. Oh, how embarrassing. Yikes. All right. Next, we will go to Kathy from our North Platte office. Kathy?
Hi, thanks, Kim. Um, in North Platte, I live very close to the time zone line for the central line to the mountain time zone line. You would think that I would know about the time zone. I grew up in Paxton, and my house was actually only 5 miles from the time zone definition line. And so all my life I've grown up, whether it was school events, crossing over into other time zones to go to other towns, going shopping, coming up here to North Platte. And you would think that I would understand how the time zone works. The North Platte area has 25 counties, and 7.5 of those counties are in the mountain time zone. The other half are in central time zone. So when I'm making appointments, I always try to put on my calendar whether it's mountain time or central time. And there have been a number of occasions where I have forgotten about the time zone shift. And when I cross from central time over to mountain time, I end up being an hour early for my appointment, my presentation, or my booth. So also, we have one of our coworkers who is in the Scottsbluff office, and sometimes I forget that she doesn't come into work until 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock our time. So I'm trying to get a hold of her. So it's just one of those things that You would think I would know better, but it's not so embarrassing because at least I'm early and not late.
True, true, yes. That doesn't become a spiral, something out of control that, yeah. But nice to have, I guess, a breathing moment when you're an hour early instead of getting there and trying to, get everything done in a short period of time. So, yeah, that's awesome. Next, we'll go to our Scottsbluff office and we'll have Susan share her moment. Hi, thank you. So, my blooper happened when I was learning sign language in about 1990. So, our instructor said that we needed to go to a deaf event to observe and take notes and journal. We had to also interact with a person who was deaf at the event. So, my friend and I attended a bowling event. So we were sitting there observing, and it was a lot of fun watching people and taking some notes and journaling. And when it came time for the event to end, we still hadn't chatted with anybody yet. So I was really nervous because it was the first time that I was going to be talking to a deaf person. And I noticed this one woman, and I thought, I'm going to go and talk to her. So I went up to her and I signed to her my name, and I finger spelled my name, Susan, and I said, nice to meet you. And the woman said, oh, nice to meet you too. So my first question to her was, have you gone to, and what I signed was alcohol. And the woman kind of laughed and said, you signed alcohol? Do you mean, did I go to a school for the deaf? This is the sign for that? And you mean a school for the deaf, not alcohol, right? And I was like, oh, yes, yes, I'm sorry. That was my mistake. Oh, so now I teach sign language and I teach my students. I warn them. I said, be careful. Don't sign alcohol when you're talking about a school for the deaf. How embarrassing. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because people who are, interested in learning sign language, they're afraid to make mistakes. But, it's all right. We're all friendly. We want to encourage those beginners to learn sign language. Um, different hand shapes and movements can mean different things, but it's still fun. I hope that no one's going to be afraid because it's okay to make mistakes. So, right. All right, so now we'll go to mine, and I'm Kim Davis in the Lincoln office. So, I guess my embarrassing moment, or actually an eye opener for me, was I was attending a national conference with a co presenter. The two of us were invited to present. We had sent the PowerPoint presentation to the host of the event prior to us going. Plus, we also had a backup on a USB. Plus, the co-presenter also had a copy of the PowerPoint on their USB. So we had backup plan B and C, so to speak. So if mine didn't work, we could go to my co-presenters. Well, mine wasn't working, so we went to the co-presenters to see if they could bring it up, the PowerPoint, and that also didn't work. We couldn't figure out why, so we asked the host, we sent this to you ahead of time through email. They tried to upload and it wouldn't open. How embarrassing. Here we were. This is a 3-hour workshop without a PowerPoint. It was really tough. It was challenging with a large audience to present to. So we had to go by memory, and, you know, we already had backup plans, but unfortunately they didn't work. So now, since that happened, I now make a hard copy of a PowerPoint just in case technology doesn't work. So it was a huge challenge for us. We also have another advocacy specialist from Kearney. Our Kearney office unfortunately was unable to join us today to share his blooper. We want to thank Sharon. She's in our Lincoln office, who is our staff interpreter today. And we want to thank you for your awesome interpreting services. Thank you very much. And thank you to all of you, the audience, for watching us today. Hopefully you enjoyed our stories that we shared with you today, our career bloopers. And if you have any funny stories, any embarrassing moments, anything you want to share, get in contact with us. We'd love to hear them. So thank you for watching. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.